Hey everyone, Brett here with another episode of Brett's Brain for you. Today, I'm going to tell you what 11 key slides you need to have in your pitch deck are for a seed stage fundraise. Hey, I'm Brett Brohl, former entrepreneur, current venture capitalist. Thanks so much for checking out this channel. Our goal is to help entrepreneurs succeed. If you have any questions that you want us to answer that can help you in your journey, please don't hesitate to ask us. Also, like, subscribe, rate, review, share this out, do all those things, all right? Okay, the seed stage deck. There's so much content out there about seed stage decks. There's a lot of things you can read. I only think you need 11 slides. That's it. The biggest mistake most founders make is they throw a ton of slides in there. They're like vomiting from the mouth all the things they can think about their startup. They want to make sure that they hit every single point because they're not exactly sure what an investor cares about. And so they put as much as they can, information as they can out there. The problem is, it takes up all of the meeting if you walk through a 40-slide deck. And I, as an investor, don't get a chance to ask any questions. And the truth is, most investors know what they care about in a startup. And so most investors are willing to ask questions to take us down that path. Your job as an entrepreneur with your deck is to just get people interested in what you're building, get them interested enough to want to ask questions. And that only takes 11 slides. I've been in meetings where founders have taken me to their website because they are proud of their website. I have invested in companies where I've never even gone to their website. I don't care about which website looks like at an early stage. It just doesn't matter to me. And so that founder wasted their time with me and they bored me. And then I might not have been as interested to ask the questions I wanted to ask. Use your deck to get people interested, and it only takes 11 slides. Now, you can have a few more in your appendix if you start getting asked frequent questions. Then you can use an appendix and say, hey, I've got a slide for that question. And that's actually really impressive. So you can put more slides in your appendix and reference them only if asked. That's actually a smart move to do. But your core of your slide deck should be about 11 slides, and that's it. All right, let's get started and what those key 11 items are. And one thing before I start actually is that there's no right order. I'm just gonna tell you 11. I'm not telling you them in any specific order. There's no one order that works right for a seed deck. You need to put your hook up front, I believe, but put them in the order that you think works for you. The most typical order is problem, solution, traction, and that works fine and that's great if that's what you wanna do, but there is no one definitive order. Okay, number one, problem. What is the pain point that you're solving? And is it an acute pain point? Do people really need the thing that you're building, and why? Don't just use qualitative analysis. You gotta have quantitative analysis on your pain point slide. How much money are you going to save me? How much money are you going to make me? You gotta have the quantitative. Qualitative is not good enough. You can't really show a true acute pain point without any type of quantitative analysis. So that's number one. Number two, solution. How are you going to solve that problem? And don't just use words on a deck. You can show a product video that's really quick, like 1 minute or less. You can have a couple quick screenshots. You can talk through people or show a diagram of how your solution works. But how are you going to solve this pain point? Number three, traction. How's it going so far? And traction could be a variety of different things. It could be users, could be usage, could be revenue, could be profits, could be scientific progress that you've made. It could be product on software progress that you made. What traction do you have so far that validates both the pain point that you talked about and the solution? All traction is a validator of everything else you're going to tell me during the pitch. It's a validator to the team. It's a validator to the market. Traction's a validator. It's important to have it. Don't leave it out. Even if you're super early stage, you'll have to have made progress in some way, shape, or form before you're raising, especially institutional capital. Number four, team. Why are you the right team to build this business? Doesn't mean you have to be a multi-time founder, but if you are, you should tell us that. If you're a first-time founder, why are you specialized in this market? Why do you know more than I know about the market? Why are you the right person to build this thing? Talk about your team. Why as co-founders do you have complementary skill sets? Why are you the right team to build this together? What's your culture like? Talk about your team. As an early stage investor, we're investing in team more than anything else. Number five, market size. How big of an opportunity is this startup? As a venture capital investor, we need to invest in startups that have multi-billion-dollar potential outcomes. We're looking for companies that can be huge, and you need to demonstrate that your market's big. Now, don't make the often made mistake of saying, well, there's $1 trillion spent on food every year and we're a food tech company, so our total market size is $1 trillion. Nope, that's not true. Your market size is how much is the software or the product that you're building have to go after. It's not the entire food industry. It's what is the specific use cases of your product and the vision of your product. It's not just today, it could be future visions of your product. Which gets me to the big vision slide, which is our number 6 slide that you gotta have. And oftentimes the most left out of the 11 that I'm gonna talk through today. Big vision. You gotta have it. It ties into market size. You gotta be able to build a big, giant company, even if what you're doing today doesn't have the potential to be a big company. Now, I often get pushback on this one and say, well, don't investors want me to be really laser focused on our go-to-market? Well, yeah, we want that too. But you gotta be able to weave the story and tell a story of, listen, today I'm laser focused on my go-to-market and this one core user of my product. But the reason we're laser focused on this go-to-market is because it's the natural first stepping stone that's going to eventually lead us to this big giant vision that's going to allow us to take over the world. That's how you do a good big vision slide, and you gotta have it. Number 7, business model. How are you going to make money? You gotta tell us how you're gonna make money. Are you direct sales? Are you having ad revenue? Are you selling data? Like, what's your sales model? How are you gonna make money today? And don't be afraid to talk about how you're gonna make money in the future if you're pre-revenue right now. You gotta have it. You gotta be thinking about what is your business model. If you're a little bit further along in your journey, talk about your margins. You can talk about like your customer acquisition cost a little bit here. This is a great opportunity to showcase the knowledge that you have about your company. Now, don't just shove a bunch of stuff in there, but what are the 2 or 3 key metrics that you think about when you think about your business model? And depending on the type of company you are, there's gonna be different things there. So if you're the consumer product, you're gonna wanna talk about margins a little bit. If you're software, you might not need to because people generally understand margins around SaaS. But how are you going to make money? You gotta have it. Don't leave out your business model. Number 8, projections. We need a projection slide. The projection slide ties into your vision and where you're going and that longer term vision for your company. I don't want to just see what you're going to project out for the next year. I want to see what you're projecting out for the next 5 years. And I know that projections are always wrong. I see them all the time. But projections, what they do tell me is they tell me how you're thinking about your company as an entrepreneur. Are you thinking that you want to build a company that's doing $1 million in revenue in 5 years? Or do you want to build a company that's doing $50 million in 5 years? Now, they have to be within the realm of possibility. Otherwise, I'm going to write you off as like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. But I also want to see aggressive projections. I don't want to see crazy detailed projections in your pitch deck though. Don't copy and paste your Excel spreadsheet that you built onto a slide. Just give me the high level for the start. I'll dig into your financials if I'm super interested. The goal of the projection slide is to show the investor that you think you can build a high growth startup over the next several years. The other goal is, okay, if I'm giving you $1 million today, does it get us far enough to enable or unlock the next level of venture capital? If I'm investing at Series Seed, are you gonna get far enough on my money to be able to raise your Series A? Do those 2 things with your projection slide. Show me you're thinking big and show me that you've thought about how much you want to raise and you're getting to the right point with this money that you're bringing in right now. Number 9, sales and marketing plan. How are you actually going to sell this thing? How are you going to go to market? What is your plan to go to market? And you might be able to tie this in with your business model, but you got to have a sales and marketing plan. Are you doing a direct sales? Are you doing digital ads? What's the plan here? Do you have something really unique? And I actually love this slide because if you do have a unique way to acquire customers, it's an amazing way to showcase it. And it can actually differentiate you from other startups. So if you have a really cool go-to-market, make sure you highlight it. Make sure you talk about the viral effect of your company and why there's a viral effect if you have one. But even if you're like plain Jane, normal go-to-market direct sales model in your enterprise SaaS, like that's okay too. Don't forget to talk about it. Talk about what you're doing in that direct sales model. What are you doing that might be a little bit different? Or are you just following the path of other startups that have come before you that's worked really well? That's okay. Make sure you talk about that. Number 10, differentiation. If you haven't covered this in any of your other slides, and sometimes you can combine this with another slide, but it doesn't hurt to pull it out and say, this is why we're different. Every startup has competition. I don't care who you are. If you don't think you have competition, you probably got a stupid idea. Every startup has competition in some way, shape, or form. You gotta talk about why you're different, and not just why you're different than an incumbent, than other startups. You gotta be 10 times better than them. Why are you 10 times different and better than other startups in the space? You gotta know that. And last but not least, number 11, which I don't have enough fingers to do, is the ask. Don't forget to tell me, how much are you raising? Why are you raising it? And where does that money get you? I want to know that you've done your research and you really truly believe that the money you're raising today is enough to get you to that next round of venture capital. I don't want you to run out halfway through and then we have to put more money in. That's not fun for anybody. It's not going to be fun for you as an entrepreneur either. So don't forget about the ask. That's it. That was a mouthful, but that's the 11 slides that you gotta have in your seed pitch deck. Don't do many more than that. Don't throw 40 slides at me. You're gonna waste your time and my time. Stick to those 11, have a few appendix slides, and you're gonna have great investor meetings. If you like this content, make sure you share, like, subscribe, do all those things. And if you want us to help you in your journey, make sure you ask us questions.